Coming up on Reliving Single.
Now, this is an interactive episode. We swapped out one sexy guest star for another very sexy guest star.
John used to call him Mo. What up, Mo Nut?
I still say rigged.
Just need you to understand that we don't want to work under these conditions, but I'm fine.
Rigged! Rigged, I tell you! The psychiatrist comes in and says, okay, look, how long do you need? TC Carson, I'm gonna get your ass. I know where you live. You hear me?
Your own mother voted against you.
Yeah, I'll set up with her later. I'm telling you. Welcome back to Reliving Single, the official, unofficial Living Single Rewatch podcast. Now, when we last left off in part 1, we left the girls with a major hard-on when a new sexy neighbor moves upstairs and it's friggin' Morris Chestnut. And if Yvette didn't make it painful enough, Fox made it a competition where the audience decides who gets Morris Chestnut.
Why are you whispering?
Kim, just get with it. Stop playing. Try it.
And everybody in America got to vote. Everybody. But not everybody was satisfied with the result. So today we're going to do a do-over. Woo!
Right, because I thought it was rigged. So what we're going to do is we're going to tally it up, retally up the votes ourselves.
Okay.
And run a new contest.
Okay.
Tell them how.
Was it rigged because you didn't win? I'm sorry. Right. So we sent out a new number to a selected group of people to call in and vote for their favorite matchup. Here's our phones right here. Here we go.
Right.
Let's get your phone so we can...
Oh, it's ringing.
Oh, it is. Okay, here we go.
Hello? You're voting for Khadijah? Mom!
What? It's time for the rewind, where we watch and relive Living Single with you. Here we go. This week, we are reliving Single, Season 1, Episode 19, Mystery Date, where Overton and Sinclair's sweet new romance hits a few bumps after their friends chime in with some not-so-great advice. With mixed signals of flying, things get awkward fast.
And also remember that fine new neighbor from Love Thy Neighbor? Mm-hmm. Well, Khadijah, Max, and Regine all compete for his affection and erection.
What?
Wait, this is written by Becky Hartman, directed by Ellen Gittleson. The episode guest stars, we swapped out one sexy guest star for another very sexy guest star.
So we swapped out
Cree Summer for
Morris Chestnut. There's something for everyone there.
Yes, and
I like that.
Morris Chestnut. Where is he from?
He was Ricky Baker in Boys in the Hood.
Come
on, a role that made him a household name. And he's really grounded, I think, as an actor. And he was lovely to work with, don't you think?
Yes, he was very lovely.
Yeah.
And 30 years later, he is still a fine man, and he's a wonderful, great actor. Now, this is an interactive episode. At the time, we were popular. We were number one in Black and Latino households. So I think they were just trying to do stuff that was fun. And so what happened is the audience voted for which one of our living single ladies would go out on a date with the heartthrob, Dr. Hamilton. How did they vote?
I think it was a phone bank. Like, we didn't have social media or anything. I think it was just like you could call in and vote for the lady that you wanted to see him go out with.
And I call BS.
Why do you call BS?
I don't think they had any process for voting. That's why we're going to redo it right now. Okay, that's right. So may the best woman, Max, win. Roll it.
Oh, well, can I help you with it?
No, I think I can handle it. By the way, I'm Hamilton.
Like the Greek god?
No, I don't think there's a Greek guy named Hamilton.
Well, there is now.
Well, it's nice to meet you all. I guess I'll be seeing you guys around.
Oh, yes.
All right. Walk that one.
Oh, that's Hamilton.
First of all, there's a callback to the, Regine doing that little date laugh.
cheating.
Right. And even you are sort of bitten by the bug. You have now asked him 3 times, can I help you with that? You asked him the first episode, the part 1, and you've asked him twice so far. Well, can I help you with that? What?
Hey, so they're using their wiles.
Using their wiles.
Yes, and they all have different ones. And when you don't have as big of titties, you have to be helpful. So I
Right.
think that's why Max is asking that.
But we don't know if he likes big titties. So, you don't know what the man likes yet. You're just working all the magic that you
What
have.
dude doesn't like big titties?
There's some guys who can't put that whole thing in my mouth. I don't, everybody has their preference.
No,
right?
that's true. So what is it like for someone to be the object of all these women
right.
desire? And that's Morris Chestnut.
I like that he plays that he doesn't get it. He's not witnessing that this.
Oh, he must be clueless.
Right, yeah.
He's got to be clueless.
Right.
Like, oh, really?
So it's clear that he's 100% clueless. And he's just, I made a joke and they're laughing. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that takes something to have to play because it's obvious that these women are throwing themselves at him, but he has to play as if it's no big thing. Don't forget that we know that he's a doctor.
Yeah.
We know all these things that our upstairs neighbor has found out for you all. I'm grateful. I'll be honest. I'm grateful I didn't have to be part of the brouhaha.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
I know
Yeah.
we will. He was lovely to work with. He was kind. He was easy to work with, and easy to be around. He's got a lovely
He's
personality.
a lovely dude.
Yeah,
You know, he never played his looks. He just looks good.
No, right.
Yeah.
And that's distinct. There didn't seem to be a self-consciousness about, yes, I'm playing, the dark chocolate, tall, delicious, yummy man.
And it just shows you when you got it, you got it. You ain't got to play it.
Right.
And he's always had it.
John used to call him Mo. What up, Mo Nut? Mo Nut. I was like, I don't think you should
Mo Nut.
call him that to his face. Mo Nut.
Only John Hitt can get away with
Right.
that. So the minute he comes in, we're all running for him. And people ask me all the time, we're running across the couch. Was it scripted? No, it wasn't. I'm just naturally competitive. So then
And
Max
agile.
Yes, Max is competitive, definitely as written. But I happen to be a jock. I was a jock. Oh, Erica E could move.
You flew. Did you even take off your shoes?
I took off everything going across that couch.
You did.
Yeah,
I didn't remember
man.
the shoes came with the jacket, the everything.
Jacket, everything, and then sort of, phew.
And the whole point was to get to the door before they did.
Yeah.
And that was not written.
No.
How? Where were you supposed to be? Where was it written for you to be?
They all go for the door.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say how. I mean, that's up to the people. I knew that I needed to go. I was on the further side. So I
Yes.
could have gone around and done all that. But why?
Oof.
There is no obstacle. Ain't no mountain high enough.
Ain't no couch bouncy enough.
Overton and I did it last night. That's right, we kissed.
Passive is back, dear. Don't you read?
Oh, I did read something in Cosmo.
Mm-hmm. Then you know that for most men, it's all about the chase. As soon as the thrill is gone, so are they.
Regine's advice to Sinclair. I mean, so it taps into the old adage, the rule. You're supposed to act aloof to keep someone intrigued.
Yeah.
But she ain't doing that right
She's
now.
not. She took her man. Listen, there were dire straits. She was about to lose her man to that other curly-haired girl who has real hair. Got some nerve to talk about her hair. Like those curls are natural. Like mine were natural. They were not.
ringing.
Oh, hold on.
It's ringing.
Yes, hello. Mystery date redo from Max.
Okay. Right.
No, Regine. Okay. Any reason why?
Why?
Just to F with her. Okay, nice. Okay, yes, of course I'll tell her. Yes, of course I'll tell her. Thank you.
Who is that? What do you mean?
T.C. Carson. Yes. Payback's a bitch, isn't it?
Don't worry, T.C. Carson, I'm gonna get your ass. I know where you live. You hear me? In the meantime, let's go back to this show. Do men value that chill energy over like genuine excitement in dating?
I think there's this rule that you shouldn't, you should make yourself a little aloof, a little available. But I think there are guys who are like, just tell me, do you like me? You want to be with me? I think there are men who appreciate no games, or maybe I don't like to play games, and the guys I've been with have been appreciative of it.
So you're saying that
Don't play
the
the
relationship
games.
between Sinclair and Overton thrives because it's authentic.
Yes,
They're not playing games.
right
Okay,
Right.
I buy that.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Why is Sinclair taking advice from Regine?
because she's doubting herself, right? Because she made this kiss, she
Right.
did it on impulse. And she's decided, we'll find out if she does take the advice from her, but she's thinking about it because it's like, well, she obviously has more experience with men. She must know something I don't know, meaning Sinclair doesn't know.
Hello? Hi, yeah. You want to vote for who? Yes. Yeah, no, of course.
Regine.
That was one for Max.
That's for Max? Oh, good for you.
I'm gonna go to see how my baby's doing this morning.
Wait. Oh, man, look. When dating, the worst thing one can do is appear too eager. Play it cool, my brother.
Yeah. Thanks. You saved a relationship, man. Well, I do what I can, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, I got her right where I want her now.
Okay, wow. So Kyle insists Overton must play it cool with Sinclair in order to keep control of the situation, also keeping her interest. Bad advice collides when Sinclair and Overton have a very short conversation.
We're each listening to two very jacked up people.
They really jacked up.
Nature found its way on its own. Why are we listening to these folks who claim to be experts at it and obviously not really successful?
Once you've done something, it doesn't feel real.
Mm-hmm.
So you doubt yourself.
Right.
And so
right.
they're susceptible. They're vulnerable. And so, unfortunately, Kyle's advice sucks. What would you tell Overton instead?
I think that Kyle, knowing that this is his boy and he's finally getting what he wanted ahead of schedule, because we know that Overton has a 6-year plan to get this girl. It's like, you got her, go for it. The advice should be to go for it and have a good time and, treat her well, which he knows he's going to because he knows what kind of man he is.
Yep.
But this whole play it cool, what is that?
I think this is what drives sitcom is this trope of miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
They did it very well in Three's Company.
Mm-hmm.
And gender roles play into miscommunication.
Very much
because
so. Very
she's
well.
getting her bad advice from Regine,
Mm-hmm.
and then Overton's getting the bad advice from Kyle,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also masculine and feminine.
Right. And women shouldn't be too aggressive and men shouldn't be too this and all the rules. And how have we procreated and continued the civilization this far?
Yeah.
I'll never know.
So what's your real life example? Because I know you got one. Where miscommunication, where it happened to you.
Yeah. There's a guy that I had a crush on and my gaydar wasn't working yet. He was actually gay. He's charming and he was interested in me as a friend, but the gaydar didn't go off. And so it caused a little chaos because I was trying to be, and it was not, why are my feminine wiles not working? And he was so oh, Kim, we're friends. And someone later said, he's gay. I was like, oh my God. I didn't know.
Oh,
and then it opened up the ability to be able to be friends now that I understood that. So that's chaos.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh.
Hello? No, man, this ain't Pizza Hut. All right, no. Good luck. Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Are you, by any chance, from Philadelphia?
Yeah, I'm from Mount Airy.
Stop it now. I grew up there, right around the corner from Ishkabibbles.
They got the best hoagies in the city.
Tastes good just to say hoagie. Hoagie, hoagie, hoagie.
Yeah, that felt good, didn't it?
Hoagie.
And I was out back and I smelled something amazing coming from this kitchen. What is that?
Oh, just a little tri-colored corkscrew pasta and a marinara sauce with capers and sun-dried tomatoes, which I sun-dried myself.
Well, this sounds like something needs to be settled on the blacktop.
We could go right in.
Hey, I got it, man.
Hey,
What you
I'm
got?
from Jersey.
What you got? Come on. Sit this way. No.
I gotta say, I tell you, that's crazy.
I love this whole scene.
I love it.
What do you think about the ladies' game here? So we got Philly, food, or basketball?
Frankly, I gotta go right now. Look, even though I want Max to win, and you're doing pretty good here, by the way, y'all. Doing pretty good.
Okay.
Right now, I think that the lead is, for some reason, Khadijah.
Okay, why?
I'm gonna be honest.
Why?
Because he seems to be down with sports, and men love sports. They actually, their eyes glaze over with everything until you talk about a sport.
Okay.
Yeah, and somehow, it just makes their testosterone go.
Okay. And so to see a woman be able to play like, oh, we could settle this on the court.
Exactly, but the deal is not sealed because if that basketball smelled like a meatball, she'd have had him.
Right. Okay.
But that man's playing hard to get. He's getting hard to get. I think he's doing really well.
Do you think he's onto it now?
I think he'd be a fool not to be.
Okay.
But you know what? If you've been good looking your whole life, maybe people always fighting for you. So you just accept it. Like after a while when you got to be famous, there's a part of me that actually starts to look past people seeing me. Do you do that?
I get that.
I stopped seeing them at like 17. I'm not even kidding, start going.
Got you.
I had to so I could move through.
Yeah, got you.
And if you come up to me, no problem. But I can't.
You can't take it all in.
Hey,
right.
is that? So I think that with a good-looking person, they probably start to look past those things.
Especially if they're not shallow. If they're shallow, like, ooh, come on, get it.
Yes.
I like that. All right, good.
Yeah.
Now, I know you did not like this storyline.
I hated the storyline. I hated.
Tell us why. I can guess, but tell us why.
I thought it was ridiculous. You have to understand. Okay, so Girls High. Hey, let's get in that. Let's get in Girls High. You hear me? This is where I come from. Talk about Philly. I'm from the Philadelphia High School for Girls.
Yes, you
One
are.
thing they did not teach us is that we were going to compete. We were going to compete for men. We're going to compete with men. To be clear.
Got you.
So even though I'm getting that this is just a story trope, me as Max, playing Max, thought that would never happen. You don't want to put yourself in a position. If they had said we compete for money, I could see how it was okay, whoever wins. But it wasn't that. It's like we wanted that. Like, oh, he's like, so that means that we're desperate.
We're desperate.
And I never thought they were desperate. That was maybe when I said I'm going back to my trainer to write my comeback piece. I just didn't feel good in my body. And I know that's Erica Alexander reacting. I'm playing a role. But also as the character, I absolutely didn't think that is where she should be.
I like that because, a lot of actors would just like, let me just read these lines and get this check right quick. So where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to stand? What do you want me to do? And I love that you're being honest about your personal feelings about it. And not to mention just like you, Erica Alexander, who was trained at Girls High and got this beautiful new playing field. Like, no, you will not be competing against other people for something like love.
So even with everything we've got, he's a doctor, he's good, looking good, but we have to stumble over ourselves? There was no reason in our psychological profiles that this was going on, except for maybe Regine.
Agreed.
Other than that, I don't get it. So yeah. Oh! Ring.
Hello? Hola. Gracias por su participación. ¿Sí? Gracias. Claro, sí que. Okay, bye-bye. Max.
Yay! Gracias! So they both stand each other up, Sinclair and Overton, which makes no sense. Are they doomed lovers? They like mismatched.
Right. This sort of mixed moments of timing, and he's waiting for her and posing and looking, and goes upstairs, and she comes out of the door and she's looking for it's just
And you call that the comedy of
I think it's called a comedy of errors when things move in different places, but the audience gets to see the mismatches and the missed moments, but the main players don't. And I think it happens in real life too, that these moments, that's why it feels so real. Like, oh, she just left. Oh, here he comes. Oh, the audience is with you.
You can do that inside of this format where you have a live audience.
Please.
You kind of need those types of things to happen.
They're in on it with you. And this is what we talk about, them them being another character and another energy.
Yes.
They're there with you and they want to see you win.
So
Yeah.
when your friends are in their relationship troubles, are you like supportive or are you like tough love?
I'm supportive. What about you?
I'm tough love.
Of course. What do you mean? So okay. So when does so in this situation, how would tough love come into play?
Okay, let me just take that back a bit. I'm supportive by giving them tough love.
Okay. All right. Very good.
And by the way, that's probably why people don't ask me my opinion about their
But
relationship.
you're very much a suck it up, get it together kind of person.
Well,
Right,
hey,
right.
come on, we invite hell upon us.
Right.
But the thing is, if you're in something, you think, oh, well, they're asking me because they know I'm like that.
Mhm.
So I'm going to just tell them straight.
Right.
Like,
I think it's important to find out what result does your friend want. Like one of my best friends, I was going through a difficult relationship and I thought she was going to take my side and she did not take my side. Not because the man that I was with was right or wrong.
Yep.
She was like, there's things that you're doing and not doing. Like you can only change yourself. You can't change someone else.
No.
So it was like sort of tough love, but she was like, no, you need to look at yourself. It's not even about him. He's going to have his behavior, but what are you going to do about it?
Okay, to me, that's the beauty.
Yeah.
Because the tough love, it's always usually about you. Where are you in your life that you have attracted this experience?
Exactly. When you look at that changes it all.
Because we often we want what we don't need. But sometimes we need what we don't want.
Or we think we know what we want or need, and the universe has
Or
other
maybe
plans.
the need is the want.
Maybe
and
the
the
need is
want
the
is the
want, the want
need.
is the need. And having wants and needs is what messes it all up.
And if you want that
Yeah.
need, the
Yeah.
need wants you.
The need always wants you. That
Girl,
we can agree upon. Yeah.
Let's write a book.
Come on now.
To think I wasted a whole day wondering if you still liked me.
Let's make a promise that we'll never act this childish again.
Pinky swear?
Yeah, come on, girl.
Hey, I'm on my way out, but I was wondering if you and I can get a drink or something later.
Well, I'd love to. As a matter of fact, we can go right now.
Hey, that works for me. Listen, I'll meet you in the hallway in a few.
King, king.
Okay, let's talk about all of this. First
Okay.
of all, you looked stunning. The hair wrap, the
You're
the
very
dress,
kind.
you looked really, really pretty.
Thank you. That was a beautiful mud cloth.
Yeah.
Thought it flattened my titties a little too much. But you know what? I'm glad to represent.
Glad that you represented. You
Yes.
look beautiful. We
Yes.
each lady brought their best. You
Remember
know,
Phyllis?
Phyllis Yvonne Stickney.
Stickney.
She plays with that look so well.
So
It
well.
suits her,
Yeah.
and that's really her who she is.
No, that's it. She is. Yeah, yeah.
We used to do stand up together back in the day. She would show up at the Apollo like that, and the Apollo would immediately love her because she came representing in
People don't
all
understand
that. Yeah.
that was a 90s look. to be
Please,
clear.
please, one of the best to do it, and you were one of the best to do it too.
Well, thank you.
Let's talk about Regine. Looked a little older. We were sitting here saying she looked a little grown up.
She did look a little mortician. Is that what
Right.
Amber said? Yeah.
And
Like she was in the knockoff of The Godfather.
right, there you go. And then Khadijah's wearing a jacket, like one of her suit jackets, not even really trying to be extra, but just being herself, which is
Right.
important.
But you don't have to when you have tatas like that.
Come
Dana
on.
has some of the best in the world.
Come
Y'all
on.
all had fantastically gigantic tits. And it was beautiful
we
in
were
that
working our
suit.
magic. Speaking of working magic, Sinclair and Overton are in the bathroom, not the bathroom,
Getting
but the bathroom
down.
getting down.
What the
I always
hell?
appreciated John Hinton for his fresh breath. And we enjoyed those moments. We really did. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun. It was not a bad job to come home,
know
come to
that's
school
right.
that day. And I like that scene where they get that special shot. You know, they had to make that shot in the mirror happen. You know,
Yes.
so to line it all up and we kissing. So it was really sweet. And we made this pact to just be ourselves.
Yes. And by the way, you're doing in the bathroom. I guess Overton has no bedroom. Maybe
Yeah,
they
right.
didn't have the budget for it.
Maybe they didn't have the budget for his bedroom yet.
So, you
And
know
then-
what? I looked good. And Regine looked, lovely,
Mhm.
but he chose the great Queen Latifah as Khadijah. No shade there, even though we doing this, by the way,
Yeah,
because
where are we?
I still feel like the vote wasn't held right, and I'm doing all right in this. But kank,
You've mentioned this before that Dana is very
Dana's hilarious.
comfortable in her body, and she knows how to use her
She's
body.
elegant.
It's elegant and movement and
Kank. And when she's walking, she's like this. Sort of floating and whatnot. She don't sweat that.
Right. And her hair is always bouncy and behavey. It was really
she has
quite
some beautiful hair.
Yeah. I want to remind you the way this show was shot is that we shot the show and then we shot 3 alternate endings, meaning 3 alternate days. Like, who did he choose based on who the audience would vote for? And then they, I believe they inserted that was the one that aired.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
I still say rigged, but whatever.
Rigged? Why?
I don't know. I never understood the voting process and how they could get those votes in real time.
Maybe there were some hanging chads or something.
Yeah,
Right.
there's definitely, this is definitely a hanging chat situation. Because, by the way, you shoot that ending
Yes.
and it feels awful. Like you've been passed over by dodgeball.
Here's what's interesting is that you,
Game.
Erica, didn't like the theme of this.
No.
You, Erica, would not compete for a man.
Nah.
You, Max, would not compete
I don't
for a
believe
man.
she would. I
Then
don't.
why are
it
you
doesn't matter
upset
what
that
they
you
vote.
lost? That Max lost?
Because I'm competitive, Erica, and so is Max competitive. So I just
It's a
thought,
beautiful dichotomy. I get it.
yes, you can be inside of something and oppose it, and yet still want to win. I'm sorry.
That's a lot.
Shoot.
That's a lot.
But was the audience biased toward us? Is she a good match?
I don't know if, maybe because she's Queen Latifah, the LATIFA agents in command, maybe they chose her because of that. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, I thought it was rigged, certainly biased. It was bought and bossed by.
Now, what would you have
Fox.
Would you have felt this way if Regine won?
Now, sorry, that's too ridiculous.
Why is it too ridiculous?
What do they have in common?
She's feeding him. She's going to feed him. We don't know enough about him to know why he
That's
would choose
true.
any one of them.
That's true, but I just think, okay, so let's just assume that dudes are kind of the same,
Mm-hmm.
have template. You can feed a dude and get them. He just didn't look like the type who was eating that much spaghetti. So, I had hoagies, and he knew what that meant. Hoagie. Oh, it's in the first part of the hoagie. Hoagie. Come on. I'm making a different promise. Woo, go ahead.
Go ahead. It was
Oh,
all in good
okay.
fun.
Well, listen,
I'm glad I wasn't
That's
in
the timer?
That's time.
Time. Okay.
Hey. Okay, here we go.
Okay,
And the drum roll.
good.
Let me count.
Count-
I'm going to
count
tally
'em,
everything.
count 'em.
Yeah, So it's great.
The tally is in.
17, 18, 19, 20,
I'm ready.
21.
I'm ready. This was a good.
Okay, good. All right,
And,
Amber, drum roll. And the winner is...
And that's how I became so fascinated by the esophagus.
Yeah, well, check us out, right? I'd love to hear more about your med school stories, but I gotta wash my hair.
Hey, wait. It's one more thing, sweetheart.
Yes?
You see, the drinks were $2.75 each, right? You include the tax and the tip, and your half comes to $6.84.
You did this to me. I thought y'all was my people.
Rigged, I tell you. And you know what? I ain't taking it no more. It's not fair. And I don't think that you did it right.
Erica, this is fair and square. I tallied the votes myself.
You sure?
I am. Your own mother voted against you.
Yeah, I'll set up with her later. I'm telling you. What the hell's that, man? Come on.
But now that you see what kind of man he turned out to be, would you have wanted to be with him?
Yes. I want to be the one to turn him away. Max wants to be the one.
What would you have done if at the end of a date he said, "Oh, by the way, you tallied the drinks and this is
Child,
your..."
please. That would be horrible.
How do you think the date would have gone if Max had won?
It sounds like they wrote it to go that way no matter what. And maybe that's how they fixed this episode in my eyes, that he was a dud. We were fighting for this thing
Yes.
that we didn't even know who he was. We didn't really find out much about him. And then she finally goes on a date and finds out not only is he a bore, he's freaking miserly. He's stingy.
He's a
He's
bore
a
and he's
miser,
cheap.
man.
Right, right. It's
So-
that interesting that you're right. You all didn't spend any time getting to know him. You just
At
had a
all.
list of things that our neighbor from the episode before said. But yeah, it was
And we
about
acted
winning.
like men in that. Am
Yeah.
I wrong for that? Sometimes if you go just for looks only,
Yeah, listen.
it can
Yeah.
turn you on. But the thing is, it's the person that turns you on
Mhm.
ultimately. That
Right.
turns you off.
Right. Love
Yeah.
that. So no matter
Oh,
what,
well.
it was written that no matter who went on a date with him, it would turn out to be a dud.
Yeah.
Everybody wins then, right?
Yeah. I didn't win Morris Chestnut, but I won my dignity.
There you go. There you go. I love when actors
Okay.
get to break the fourth wall that way. We see earlier episode, Kim Fields does it, and we get to see Queen Latifah do it here. Just really talking directly to the audience. You did this to me. Yeah, I thought you was my people.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love it. And plus, it also acknowledges that the people had voted.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it invites the people in, and that's the real fun of it.
It
I
is,
mean,
it is.
frankly, whether I enjoyed this or not, I'm sure for people it felt like real fun to feel invited and to predict the end
Mm-hmm.
of the show. And this is before we had, by the way, computers and all these other things.
Mhm.
People had done it, and people were doing it with shows with contestants and things like that, who you sang, but not rarely was it done on a sitcom.
No, I don't think it had been. I don't think it had been that way. So it brought the audience right there with you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
So ultimately,
crazy.
it says how much we love them and they love us too. You know what's hit me rewatching these episodes? Every single character raised the bar and set their own standard of excellence.
Max, she went from legal powerhouse to community advocate.
Mhm.
Khadijah built a media empire for the culture before the internet.
That's right. And Sinclair, who went from assistant to actress with heart and hustle, and Regine from boutique bombshell to event planner, boss.
Boss. And just like our girls on Living Single, our friends, you at home are making moves like launching your side hustle and landing your dream jobs. And Lexus is right there with you, helping you reset the bar.
You understand something? This is not just a point A to point B journey. It's about riding in a car that meets your vision. Sleek, powerful, luxurious, comfort so good it feels like a spa day in traffic. Woo!
Because that's how Lexus makes me feel. Amazing.
Yes. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Reverb, brought to you by Lexus. Y'all know this is where we reflect and connect and talk about how the episode's themes still echo in the culture. Because just like our stories, Lexus keeps raising the bar. That's the standard of amazing.
So one thing Living Single always did well, and maybe doesn't get enough credit for, is how it showed the Black love in all its forms, and it didn't have to be tragic or over the top. It could be awkward, poetic, petty, soulful, sexy, sometimes, all in the same episode.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. So whether it was Sinclair and Overton being pure-hearted and goofy, or Max and Kyle sparring their way into something deeper, relationships were so rarely centered that way on TV. And most television shows featured Black love, always showcased it after it was found.
Yeah.
Living Single was the first of its kind, showing young Black professionals in pursuit of it. So what are some of your earliest moments of seeing Black love on television?
Well, I always have to go to Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King, because we saw them on television all the time. They were
did.
holding hands at marches.
Mhm.
She was always by his side. Unfortunately, because he was assassinated, they showed the pictures of her and the grieving process. But she was long suffering in the most beautiful way.
Mm.
And he was living the dream for us all
Right.
together.
Together.
And they had children. And so
Yeah.
I see that as a beautiful example of not only Black love, Black family, Black sacrifice, but also American values. But they also sacrificed themselves for the cause. My God. Woo!
I think I've told you before, my aunt went to Boston University with them. And my aunt told me he was besotted with Coretta. He just thought she was just the most. So that's, what we saw in those photos was real. He just thought she was so talented and so beautiful. And like, Coretta, this is my girl.
Coretta.
So that was real. We've got so many options. We've got Kunta Kinte and Belle.
Oh, come on. They was jumping the broom.
Jump in the broom.
That's real.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. And even in the most difficult of times and and we know that happened for Black folks at that time. As much pain as we were going through, we were finding each other. So that was on television.
That's
George
right.
and Wheezy.
George and Wheezy.
We
Come
love-
on, that's one of the best
love.
of all time.
Come
'Cause
on.
Say what you want about George. They were at odds, but he loved
Oh, love himself some Wheezy.
Wheezy.
George.
Beautiful.
Yeah, love.
Yes.
James Evans and Florida Evans, which we
Sorry.
know. And actually, it was Florida. Well, it was Esther Roll who said that she was the one who introduced the Black father to television. They didn't want to give her, this woman who was living in the projects in Chicago. They didn't want to give her a husband, and she
Yeah.
said, "You must give my children a father." And so she fought to get this James Evans character.
Still pushing the propaganda that, you know,
Right.
that we didn't have families or didn't know how to.
Please.
After hundreds of years of destroying the infrastructure of Black, unity and
Yeah.
family.
We're talking TV, but the first time I saw this movie was on TV, Claudine. Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones. So even though it was a movie, I'm going to call that one, That Love. And
I saw it on TV too. I
of
didn't
course,
see it.
yeah,
in things. Yeah.
So for me, it was TV. And the bubble bath he made with that dish soap. I just imagine that all of her bodily oils were stripped.
And by the way, as much as I love Diane Carroll with that, they gave her a ton of kids with no father.
That's it.
This Is Us, Sterling,
Yes.
and my friend Susan Kalichi Watson. We did a play together off Broadway. I love you,
I
Susan.
love it.
She's such an amazing actress.
By the way, have you heard him say that any actress that plays a love interest must be brown like him?
Who?
Sterling K. Brown.
Oh, wow.
He has said, no, I will not kiss or have any love relationship without someone who is brown skinned like me.
But
Okay.
how rare was it back in the day to see something about Black love that wasn't tragic or dramatic or, just honest
Yeah.
and quirky?
Yeah.
It was very hard. Because actually,
there we
most
were.
of those things outside of the comedy sitcom
Mhm.
were very tragic.
Mhm.
No,
yes,
that's real.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Do you think that your characters, Overton and Sinclair, helped normalize tenderness?
I think so. And I can only say it felt beautiful to play, but you hear the fans say, I'm so glad that the two of you were sweet and tender. Like we see these over-sexualized images of women and men and to love, to know that there was a good guy and a good girl that could come together was powerful to see. To know that was possible, to know that I could carry myself a particular way and still get a great guy.
Mhm.
So I love that it was hadn't been seen much and that we got to play.
But
with it.
how much has that changed since living single? Has it
You
been
know,
more
I don't know.
complicated?
I think we as human
layered?
beings are always complicated around love and love relationships. I think we have, our science, like what happens to our body when we see something that we want. And then we have the rules that are being put on us by society and social media and what you should want and what you shouldn't want. So it's really complex and confusing. And in the end, I think you have to just be yourself and resonate a particular way so you can attract the type of person that you want.
So, do we have responsibility to portray Black love?
I think we always say that Black folks are not a monolith. There's many versions and many permutations of us, and we're human and we're trying to figure it out. I think that we have a responsibility as creators to create those projects, to create those a look into Black love and Black life that we want to show the world. So I think we have that responsibility, whether or not the networks and I always call it, the suits in the office want to show that is another story. But I think we have a responsibility to show all the mosaic of who we are, for sure.
I think, we also need to not just lean on the fact that it's on the screen. In books, there are amazing love stories and novelists, and we have people like Sister Soldier, who is a friend, and I appreciate. There's so many people. We should probably put a list up. Put underneath the comments, y'all, the types of books that we should be looking for these stories, and learn how to turn off your devices and go in search of different versions of us so that you feel complete. It shouldn't always have to be delivered to you on a screen.
Right.
There's too many ways for you to get it.
And maybe not even narrative. I'm sure there's plenty of folks who are writing, the how to, be the best version of yourself so that you can attract the best version of your mate. I'm sure there's plenty of that. And so go seek it. And I always say just be curious.
Yes.
Right.
Seek it. Be it. True Blue.
know about True Blue. You know about True Blue. It's the segment where we hear from you. Maybe you have a question, a thought, a comment. We will watch, we will hear, we will read, we will experience you, and we will answer it right now. True Blue. Enjoy.
Let's do it.
Who's going to be our lucky person today?
All right, so we have a written letter this time, and I'm going to read this email. This person has 2 questions for you.
Right.
But just FYI, I'm just going to read I think you should hear what she has to say.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is Renee from Atlanta, Georgia. And she says, "Hi, beauty queens. Although I am a part of the younger crowd," she's from 1999. That's when she was born.
Good for
Let's be
her.
clear. Yet I still took so much inspiration from living single, and I feel like my personality stems from knowing you 4 ladies on screen. You're an example I hadn't seen before and encouraged me to live in my truth and do the things that made me feel free and happy. My friends say I'm a Khadijah and Max of the group, and I
That's a
wish I
lot.
grew up in the 90s instead of being born right at the end. Your characters, and even doing a little research and listening to your lives, you women have influenced the woman I've become today and am continuing to become. I truly love you all and everything you have shown to the world. Even if there are times you feel like you're not reaching someone, you definitely are.
That's so sweet.
That's beautiful.
It's very
That's a
sweet.
beautiful
I thought
thing.
I thought you guys should hear that.
Yeah,
Okay. So her question, Renee's question, she says, "What was your favorite set and why
Set on the show.
on the show?"
I love the roof.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought the roof was fun.
Yeah. That was nice. It was, that was nice. The roof was
the roof
nice.
was fun. Yeah. What about you?
I was going to say The Office, but because
Mm.
I had my own, my
That was
own,
your
my
queendom.
my domain, but the living room, the place where we gathered most,
Mhm.
the living room. There
That
was
was very familiar.
very familiar places to sit and be, and we were always looking for new things to do while we were in there. Even this a part in this episode where you take your coat and flip it up before sitting down. Like you have to find new ways to be in this space, and so the living room where we gathered.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and had our Thanksgiving dinners and all the
That's
things.
true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
But the roof is a good one.
Yeah.
Good one. Yeah.
And her other question
more.
is a little bit longer. She says, "While doing press tours, I know you said it wasn't as big as other shows on other networks. However, a tour is a tour. Were there any places on the press tours that you felt your audience really valued and appreciated you while you were there? For example, anytime Beyonce goes on tour, she goes to Houston or Atlanta, the energy is different and much more dynamic. What was that city or space for you? And if not on a tour, where do you think you got the most of your support?"
So I got to say something because this is what I remember about press tours, and thanks for the question. It's not like what you think. We are actually in rooms, and the press tour is for the press to come. So we're not really engaging with the audience. If that were the case, we would have felt it, and they would have seen
Yeah.
how very dedicated and loving and loyal and rabid our fans were. And in fact, I wish it was more like that because I think those executives who lived in offices and poured over numbers as opposed to look at the fan engagement would have seen that they had an opportunity that I didn't think that they took advantage of.
Good answer. Yeah, the press, and sometimes you sit in a room and they all come to you one by one,
One by
or
one.
sometimes you sit and it's somebody else on a feed, or they didn't have Zoom at the time, but you're just sitting there waiting and they would each come in. Believe it or not, Fox was one of the biggest networks in Hawaii. And I remember going to Hawaii. We went there we have to tell our earthquake story sometime, but they love us. I remember being engulfed by a bunch of Samoan girls, big Samoan girls with all this hair, like Sinclair, Max, how you doing? They would hug us. And it was like, oh my God, like the love was there for us in Hawaii. And I didn't know that Fox was as popular as it was there. So they love us in
Yeah.
Hawaii. They love us everywhere. And I don't say that like flippant, but I remember these Samoan girls coming and I was like, oh, I had never met Samoans, and here they were saying that they love this show.
So shout out aloha.
Aloha
to
all the
Hawaii.
Samoans. Love you.
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
And can you actually tell the Hawaii story?
The Northridge earthquake rocked California,
Mhm.
and they kept us on for some reason, our show.
We were
the
made to
filming,
come to work every
we were made
day.
to come to work every
Yeah.
day, even though it was still having these aftershocks. But they had to engage a psychiatrist to come evaluate us, to give them, I guess, insurance.
Right. Or just to
reason.
make sure they were okay to take the time off, right? Because they had to get that.
Because we were saying, look, we're too stressed out.
We're not going to work.
We can't go to work.
Yeah.
You got to tell them about that psychiatrist, child.
Oh, that's
Please
a
tell them.
long story.
It was hilarious.
It was 2 psychiatrists, 2 Black women. They were very smart to get us 2 Black women. And I talked to them first. I said, just so you know, we're fine. We're really okay. And especially me. I'm really fine. I'm okay. There's no problem. There's no problem at all here.
Berserk crazy.
We're fine. And so we just need you to understand that we don't want to work under these conditions. But I'm fine. Everybody else is just great. But I'm fine. I'm absolutely I'm fine. I said, we're fine, but we need a little time off. You know, you've got Latifah, who's from New Jersey. She doesn't know from an earthquake. And I'm from New York. What do I know about this? And everybody else is... They're okay, but I'm fine. And so we had this meeting, and what I should say underneath all of this is that you and I were scheduled to go to Hawaii for a Fox event that was happening the next week or something. So I think that we understood that if we got released, we could go on to Hawaii.
The psychiatrist comes in and says, okay, look, how long do you need?
Now,
She was trying to give all these excuses and whatever. She said,
she did.
How long do you need? And we looked around like, is she saying what we think she's saying? Basically, she was saying, look, you ain't got to do none of that. You need 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months. We gonna hook you up. And that's exactly what girlfriends
what
did.
She did.
And Kim was like, well, you know what I think? I think, you know what? She's looking around like 1 week, 2 weeks?
Or
2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks. It's, yeah,
that'd be fine. And they said, fine, no
she
problem.
Was like, she wrote that up.
2 weeks, I'll make sure the network knows. All right, y'all take care now.
And we went out of there like, hallelujah. We got on that plane. Went to Hawaii.
And went to a beautiful restaurant.
You went with the balladeer.
I went with the balladeer.
Richard.
Came back tan and gorgeous.
Looking good. And so there you go. Sometimes bad things happen, but don't lose hope. Because behind every cloud,
the double date of life. Plus, they gave us a stipend, so we didn't have to pay for dinner.
We didn't pay for nothing. We was looking good and laid.
And by the time we came back, the town had settled down. They were fine.
Oh, we were all good. There were a few highways, fine. Come on. And, multiple,
few glasses,
apartments collapsed.
Come on,
and,
it'll be fine.
Many people unfortunately didn't make it. But guess what?
We did okay.
We were ready. Don't forget to send your questions and comments to relivingsingle.podcast@heartbeat.com. That's it.
That's it.
We will answer it.
We will answer. This is what we do.
Yes.
And new stories come every week. Make sure you follow us on all the podcast places. Watch us on YouTube because we're really cute.
We are.
And we're having the time of our lives.
And don't forget to like or subscribe and watch all the way through. And we'll see y'all next week. Aloha.
Hello. They say they're going to watch. Thank you.
Reliving Single is hosted by me, Erica Alexander.
And me, Kim Coles.
Reliving Single is a production of Heartbeat in association with Color Farm Media.
Executive produced by Kevin Hart, Jeff Clanagan, Eric Eddings, Leslie Guam, Erica Alexander, and Ben Arnad.
The show is produced by Kim Coles.
Amber Watson is our senior producer.
Our associate producer is Kenny Jackson.
Our other associate producer is Electra Telesford. Our video editor is Nee Kirschman.
Our sound engineers are Eric Hicks and Cedric Wilson.
Production supervision by Razak Boykin and Brett Calkins.
Additional production support from Alex Atkins and Z. Taylor.
Special thanks to BK Augustine and Dr. E.J. Johnson.